Okay, good morning, everyone. My name's Alex Gonzalez, and I'm here with Brian Puente. We are both Adobe specialists at the University of Arizona. He's the lead specialist. He's the brains of the operation. And today is going to be a fun one. I mean, and I think in our opinion, they're all fun ones because we love the software. But the theme for today is, let's scroll to the big top here, is creating for social media on mobile. And what that means is how can you quickly create high quality images and videos on your phone and iPad or tablet, I was calling the wrong thing, then turn it into engaging content. So we're going to look at three apps today. Adobe has a lot of apps that they tend to blend into some of their functionalities, and that's okay because they all do some things that the others don't. So we're going to look at Spark Post, Photoshop Camera, and Premiere Rush. All three of these apps are free. They just require an Adobe ID, but some of them, I think Rush and Spark have premium features that come with a actual subscription service. But that being said, you can still get a lot done with a free one, but if you're a University of Arizona member, you have a free subscription through us already. Okay, I'm going to drop this reference site in here for you. Oh, no, Brian got it already. I am going to put one more site here. All of our workshops are recorded and they are available generally a week after, and we post them right in the reference sites. But I do want to show you that our Creative Cloud workshop Spark page, if you scroll through, we have each wave. We've already gone through almost half of the first wave. But if you revisit this page, you can find all of our previous workshop recordings just by tapping on a previous workshop. So that will be the case for today's as well. Are there any questions before we get started? Awesome. And please feel free, as we are looking at these, chime in with your questions. Brian will answer in the chat. I might read them out loud. We'll all chime in. We love getting questions and talking about them. We'll flip there. And it's recording. Okay. And I'm actually going to flip the agenda a tiny bit. We're going to do Photoshop Camera, Premiere Rush, and then kind of tie it all together with Spark Post. Okay. So I'm going to open Photoshop Camera, which is actually a phone-specific app. So it's kind of a weird size on my tablet, but it's still better for demonstrating. And this app is for making photographs. You can take photographs and edit them and apply lenses, which is just another word for filters. You can also add existing images and apply those lenses to them as well. This tends to be pretty fun. Let's go ahead and, I don't want to make anyone dizzy with that. It's a pretty fun app, and it tends to be trend forward and less kind of cold than maybe some of the more precise apps are. So when you first open Photoshop Camera, let's look up my notes. This will be fun. There I am. It might ask you to sign in, and it might just take you to the camera immediately. There are pretty familiar controls here. In the top right, you can switch between front-facing and rear-facing camera. If you can help it, always use your rear-facing camera. As far as Apple products go, at least, the rear-facing camera is a larger sensor and higher quality. So the theme here is to create high-quality content, and part of that is planning ahead. You can also, well, let's start by taking a picture. If you hit these three dots in the center, the ellipses, you will see you can choose your ratio. 3:4 is the native ratio of these cameras, but 9:16 is the common social media ratio for Instagram stories, and I think that's really about it. TikTok is 916 as well, but that's video. You can turn a self timer on, 3 seconds, 10 seconds, or no timer. I'm just tapping each time. You can toggle your flash on automatically or off as well. And then you can get your app settings in here. There's not a ton of settings to check out. Uh, Really, the only one you might be interested in is if you wanted to save the pictures you take to your camera roll. That means when you take a picture, it'll save it to your camera as well, to your camera roll, but it's not going to change. It's not going to save your edited pictures. Okay, so that's how we can kind of manipulate our camera settings. We can switch between front and rear facing. It's better to use rear facing if you can help it. And you can change some settings there. What am I going to take a picture of? Okay, let's take a picture of me. And like I said, use the rear facing one. I'm going to walk over to my window because window light is 100 times better than just inside light. I'm going to sound far away now, and hopefully this isn't too painful to watch. Here's me. All right. There I am. And since I couldn't quite see what I was doing, the exposure is a little bright. Actually, there's a little piece of artwork I don't really like in there. Okay. So I have put 2 pictures in here. Let's just take one more picture. My cool mud. All right. So if you look in the lower right now, you can just keep taking pictures and then start working on them, right? When you tap the bottom right, you can choose pictures to apply filters to. But you can also put the filter on while you're working. So, for example, the pop art filter puts this on. Let's go ahead and flip so you can see me. And it gives you this kind of fun effect that you can swipe to get some different ones. This is how I might have felt sometimes. What? To see different effects. I think this one's one of my favorite ones. Here we go. Okay, pop, I'm popping. And if we go here, you can see that pop art filter was applied. The lens is the right word. What's kind of fun is you can actually change the lens whenever you want. So I can put the portrait filter on there that blurs the background. I can do this spectrum, which has these kind of glitch effects or multiple exposure. There are scene specific ones. Say you want to change the skies in your pictures, or you want it to be kind of this reverie one is like a fantastical thing. I'm sorry you have to look at my face like that, but we'll let it load. um, there we go. So this adds like space and it has animations. And I'm not going to go too heavy into this. Let's go ahead and go back. Let's play with a picture off my camera roll of, I don't know, a plant. So you might notice that when you add an image, it does this wipe, and then the picture looks brighter, higher contrast, a little sharper, a little stronger colors. It just kind of pops out more. And that's because Photoshop Camera automatically or magically enhances your image when you add them. And that's that little blue wand in the top right. So you can turn enhance off and you can turn it on. It's not a bad way to just take an okay image and give it a little bit more punch. You also have your other editing tools. You have crop, and you have actual sliders for adjusting the image. If you want a little deeper dive into adjusting images and using Photoshop Camera and other photography-based apps. We have a recorded workshop about that. It's called Photography Workflow. So I absolutely encourage you to check that out. And the last thing I want to show you, let's save that. So we talked about taking pictures, applying filters to them, using existing pictures and applying filters to them, lenses. Here's a favorite one, Godzilla versus King Kong, and it wants you to be outside for it. But so some of them are a little funnier than others. But you can also hit the globe in the top left and see new and updated lenses. And some of these lenses are more of just an aesthetic, a certain color tone, a texture, a hue shift like this analog 3. And you can really kind of define something that will help you create consistent images without too much fuss. And here this one adds reflections. So you could really lose a whole afternoon going through different lenses and playing with them. This is just a way I encourage you to come up with some images. And let's go back how you can manage the way you look at it. Let's go back to the camera. So I tap the camera in the top right. And let's use this picture with a spectrum on it. Looks like a 3D plant now. So you can quickly create social media content that is far more eye-catching and interesting with the tap of not a button, tap of a screen. All right, the last thing I'm going to show you, well, are there any questions at this point about Photoshop Camera? It's a very familiar space because it looks a lot like the cameras that we're used to already. Okay, the last thing you need to know how to do is how to save your picture. Done. Back. So this picture lives inside Photoshop Camera, but it is not in my camera roll, and I can't just send it to somebody until I have shared it or exported. So if we go and look at, look at my camera roll, the picture is not there. It would be at the very bottom right. That would be the most recent one. Also, I like cacti. That's so that's going to be the theme of the things we make. Okay, Photoshop Camera. Let's tap on this. It's actually not a cactus, but that's okay. If you look at the bottom and left next to the garbage can, we have the share button. You give that a tap, and you can choose what ratio you want to share it as. The original, you can freeform crop it again. You can choose these kind of specific ones. You have to be a little careful though, because some of them will crop your image. So let's just do an Instagram post, because Instagram posts can be 4 to 5 while stories are 9 to 16. Then you hit next, and you have 3 choices. I'm just going to save to my camera roll by going to more. Interesting that I'm not seeing my camera roll. I guess I'm going to add it to a shared album. It might be something that's happening with my my personal iPad settings. This is a worth it. Okay. So I just went ahead and created an album instead. Okay. So that wasn't too confusing. Oh, that's why. Sorry, guys. It's the white button on the bottom right. Save to camera roll. So one more time. If I want to save this as a file that I can access and post on social media or use in other apps, the white circle bottom right, save to camera roll. And now if I go to my photos, there it is. Hi, I tried that, but it's not allowing me to select the ratio of the photo, only the app and camera roll. So when you Selena, are you saying that when you hit the bottom right save button or the share button? Both. Interesting. So if you can't choose the ratio, that might be a difference between versions that we have. You can always just choose the ratio by hitting the crop in the top right, and you'll see those options as well. And then you can just save to camera roll and skip that ratio portion. You're welcome.
Alex, I think we had a similar question up above from Cheyenne. Can you compensate for the Instagram chopping off the bottom of your photo? Kind of a different thing, but I think it revolves around cropping.
Oh, that's a really great question. I'm glad you asked that. And you can't expand your canvas out in Photoshop Camera. It's a very like quick and easy app. That's something that you probably send into Photoshop Mix or Photoshop Express, or use other apps. There are apps, I think, I forget its name. I think it's called Whiteogram or something like that, that let you expand it and add a solid color space around it. Um, what happens here? This is Photoshop Express. I'm just going to show you really quick how you could do it in Mix because it's a good question. So I opened up Photoshop Mix. I'm going to go to Image and grab this picture. And basically, what I would do, oh, let me undo. I accidentally zoomed the image out. There we go. Go to the crop in the top left, and then choose a new one, like 9:16. Size it down, and then use some of the tools in Mix, which will take a little bit longer to get into, to fill in the surrounding areas with, I could use a solid color background if that's all I wanted. But there's also tools that let you copy parts of the picture down and around. So you would have to get a little deeper into things. Both good questions. Thank you both for asking. Anything else about Photoshop Camera before we jump into Rush? And if you want to see more about doing that at the end of the workshop, we can hang out and talk about how to do it. I'm happy to demonstrate that. All right, let's jump into Rush then. Same story for Premiere Rush. Oh, what file types can it save as? I think it only saves you a JPEG because it is just a camera app. So you don't have file format options. Whereas the other apps will let you choose between sometimes a PNG and a JPEG. So a PNG will have transparency and JPEGs won't. So I hope that answers your question. And other Adobe apps can create Illustrator files, SVGs. A lot of these apps actually connect to Photoshop and Illustrator. You can send them to your desktop, which is really exciting. But not Photoshop Camera. That's kind of a fun and quick one. All right, let's do Rush. So Premiere Rush is a full-fledged video editor. You can combine video, pictures, you can do title texts, you can edit audio and do transitions, and you can even do color grading. It's a really fun application to use on your computer or on your mobile device. We had a session about just Premiere Rush. It was actually our very first summer workshop with Brian, and that is available as well. So if you want a deeper dive into Premiere Rush, I invite you to visit that workshop recording. And the YouTube channel, when you go to it, it breaks down chapters if you want to know how to do specific things. So this is Premiere Rush. When you open it for the first time, you probably won't see any projects because you'll have to have made them. Oh, perfect. And Brian just shared the Premiere Rush YouTube link there, which is terrific. But a cool thing about Rush is that as long as you've got the cloud storage, your Rush projects will be uploaded to your Adobe Creative Cloud, and you can edit them on your mobile device or on your computer and go back and forth. And that's a really nice feature in my opinion, because you might be adding files from one location and from another, and then just kind of sitting down and working. So you can see I've done some stuff on here, some personal things and some work things. I'm going to go ahead and start a new project just by hitting the plus in the bottom. Excellent. And you can start a new project. Add media is from stuff that's already on your iPad, your device. Take a video or photo is starting by shooting something. I'm going to go ahead and just add what I already have. So I will add media. And the very first thing you should do before you even start picking your pictures and videos is name your project. Otherwise, you'll end up with this grid of untitled, and 3 months from now, you'll be frustrated looking at your untitled projects. As Brian always says, untitled doesn't mean a lot to me, other than that I did a bad job naming things. All right, I will name this Rush Demo 6-3. It's my wife's birthday today. Maybe we can all sing her happy birthday at the end. Just kidding. Okay, and then you will select files that you want. And what I'm going to show you is just, we're going to stitch together a picture, a video, and another picture. And the order you tap them will be, thanks, Brian, will be the order it puts them in your video timeline. So if I accidentally did the wrong order, I can start over just by tapping and untapping one. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit create now. And the more complex or longer your content, it might take a little bit longer to load, which is why I didn't want to do like a 5-minute video or something like that. But this workspace in the website, on the reference site, we kind of break it down for you, but you can kind of change how the workspace is displayed. If you pinch and zoom, you can zoom your clip to view it zoomed in, so you can kind of pinpoint where audio happens and things like that. If you look at the bottom left, we have a few tools. So actually, this is interesting. Oh, so Brian, I just learned something.
Oh yeah.
Premiere Rush is aware of multiple monitors and is showing my video on the screen share, and it's showing the workspace on my iPad. So
That's cool.
It's really cool. Not great for workshops.
No, maybe we can consolidate that.
Yeah.
So good to know.
Yeah.
By the way, that's super common on most video editors on computers, is like the ability to break off your display for your playback to a separate monitor. So hopefully we can get this sorted.
I wonder. Aha, there's a little. All right, we're golden.
Perfect.
If you guys, for those that are curious, if you look at the top right, there's ellipses for help, undo, redo, and then there's a monitor there, and that's how you switch between breaking your video footage out or seeing it all together. So just stepping back, yeah, I was looking at it being like, something's not right here. You can pinch and zoom in and out to change how close in you see your clip. You're not changing the length of anything when you do that. You're just seeing it expanded or trimmed in. I can't think of the word. Zoomed in or zoomed out. I like to open up the track menu that's in the lower left, right above this cursor tool. Um, and I also like to expand the audio menu if I'm working with audio. So just tapping that kind of cycles through a few things. Well, it doesn't. Just tapping it shows you the tracks where you can hide and mute and lock them. Above that is expand or collapse audio. Um, I'm not worried about audio for this one. I'm going to go ahead and mute the track. Otherwise, you guys will hear spraying water. And now let's just talk really quick about trimming this. There's a few ways. I'm going to show you just the way that I will do it, which is by playing through what I want. So I want it to start from where it starts, and I want it to end right here. So I'm just tapping and dragging on the clip. And now if you see on the left-hand side, there are scissors. I can trim the clip and it still plays smoothly from one trimmed clip to the other. But now I can tap on the rest of that video clip. And you can see the option to split is also there when you tap once on it. You can also duplicate or separate the audio into its own track. But I'm just going to delete it. So now I have this video clip and two photographs. And I don't know, let's just say I didn't like the order of it. I can tap and hold and move it, and it'll put the in between. And if you see right now, my video is a whole 8 seconds long. Are there any questions at this point? Yeah, and if you're on a phone, this is a really good point that I forgot to mention. I'm on a tablet. My layout will be slightly different. Phones actually put all those little tools mostly at the bottom. So thank you for mentioning that, Brian. Okay, so this picture is not quite where I want it. And what I can actually do is just tap and move it around. I can zoom out with two fingers, making the picture bigger or smaller. So I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger so it's more centered and let it get cut off a little bit. And let's go look at the other picture. Same thing, I will tap on it and expand it and then move it over. So you can move your images and videos and transform them, making them bigger or smaller with just tapping. You can use the crop tool to the right, and that will also let you rotate. I thought, where'd my rotation go? I swear I was ready for this. Oh yeah, it's right there. Ha. You can rotate anything anywhere between 0 and 360. Well, not quite 360. And if you prefer, you can tap and type your number. So there's several different ways to transform your image. Okay, so let's say I'm just going to make this into a tiny video that I want in the background of a flyer that I'm making. So all I want to do is have it, we call it the Ken Burns effect, or pan and zoom. We're going to have it pan and zoom on the images, transition between each clip, and then fade to white. So it'll just be real quick here. And I'm going to go through this a little faster than I might because this is a resource that is available as well. So if you look to the top right of my workspace, there is a lightning bolt with 3 streaks. Those are our effects. And you can see we have fading transitions, wiping, sliding, and push. I'm going to give it a, I think, start from white. I always forget which one does which. So let's just go ahead and see. And you can see just by tapping it, it actually put it at the beginning and at the end. So if I press play, it went fade from white and then it goes back. If I don't want the photo to video transition to do that, which I don't, I can remove it here by tapping on it, and I still have the other one. You can also, let's do a cross dissolve here. You can grab it and drag it to where you want it, like that. So I'm going to go ahead and add all of these transitions. So I added a white fade, a cross dissolve, and I'm going to put another cross dissolve here between the next video and image, and then another white. That way, when it's looping, it fades in and out of white of itself, and there's not like a kind of rough change there. Okay, so cross dissolve the video. I'm just tapping and, oops, I didn't drag it. There we go. No? And they call it fade here. I see it called different things. Let's put the white one here. Okay. It wasn't working a second ago, so I just tapped in and out of the lightning bolt. Sometimes you just don't have things doing what you expect, and you just go in and out of it. Why doesn't it want to? There. So yes, please, questions all day. So it didn't want to drag, so I just tapped on the clip and tapped on the cross dissolve or the fade, depending on which world you live in. So if I press play now, you'll see it fades from white, it cross dissolves to the video, cross dissolves again, and then it fades to black, which is not what I want. Is this one to white? There. Okay. So the last thing I'm going to do is put a pan and zoom on these, which it automatically generates, and you can edit it if you like. All right. So if I tap on the picture clip and I go to crop, no, that's not right. Sorry, it's under effects as well. I always look for it under transform. If I go to the lightning bolt again and you hit pan and zoom, you'll see a start box, which means in this case, it's going to start zoomed in, and you see an end box, which if I tap on it, it's going to zoom out slowly to that. And maybe I want to zoom it out to see the whole plant. So let's see what that looks like. It's a pretty simple trick to make an image feel less still and to make somebody pay more attention to it. So to see that again, I'm going to tap on the last image. I'm going to the lightning bolt. So just to see it again, lightning bolt. And I'm going to just click the little switch, tap the little switch to enable pan and zoom. And let's reverse it. Let's start wide on this one. And let's end close. David, it's a very good question. Pan and zoom only applies to images, not to video. So the video, I can change the amount of, I can scale it, make it bigger and smaller. But if I recall correctly, an actual pan and zoom effect with a video is something you use Premiere Pro for. I think Brian might have an even better answer for us.
Yeah, so if you're looking to zoom in on an image as it's being used, then you probably want to lean on Premiere Pro. If you have a video that was maybe taken as a landscape and you're filming as a portrait, one option that you do have under that effects menu, which is a lightning bolt, is the option to, I forget what it's called. Could you hit it for me real quick, Alex?
Oh, it's not loading, huh? It's auto reframe.
Okay, auto
Trying to load
reframe.
it.
And basically that will try and track and follow motion in a video that's not the same ratio as the workspace you're working in. So kind of cool. Think of like you shot a video like in landscape of a guy skiing down a slope, and you choose auto reframe when you're in portrait mode for something you're going to put on Instagram stories. Then it would attempt to follow the action of that automatically. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna pause my share for a second because it's really lagging, but I zoomed in, moved it over, and tapped auto reframe, and you'll see it pushed it into a way that fits according to Adobe Sensei better. Yeah, great question. So a lot of these, some effects are exclusive to certain media types. Any more questions? I know it was kind of a quick and dirty tour of Premiere Rush. I just want to show you how quickly you can create something. Um, some of my old habits make me tap the wrong space the first time, so I apologize for that. But if there aren't any questions now, there can always be questions later. What I'm going to show you now is how to save this video to your camera roll. So Photoshop camera had a little box with a down arrow circled white. In this case, you actually need to switch workspaces um, from edit to share. And also, you might have noticed I haven't had to stop and save throughout the way. It automatically saves and syncs as you're working, which is really nice if you're someone like me that sometimes doesn't forget. Can you make the pan end before the end of a clip? You know, so you want it to like stop zooming like here and then it keeps playing. So I what I ended up doing when I needed to do that was duplicating the clip and zooming it out to where I wanted it, because there's a strange thing with Premiere Rush tries to keep it simple, which sometimes means that you don't have the controls that you want. And that might be something that would be better suited for Premiere Rush, where you could use keyframes and actually say the zoom stops here and the video keeps playing. So the workaround for me was to duplicate it. I saw Brian unmute. Maybe he's got an even better workaround.
I don't know that it's a workaround, but the other option that you have is like get it the length that you want it, split the clip, and then try and match scale. But it is
Yeah,
a little tricky.
yeah, and I think that's what I meant too, was to split or duplicate. Yeah. So and it's really hard to match the scale. There'll be a jump. In fact, the flyer I made for Character Animator on our Instagram, I did that, and I figured it was just a reel, so it didn't need to be perfect. But if you watch, it zooms in and then it stops and jumps. And then I put a winky face on it. Um, and that was just because I was just making something quick for social media, but it could have been better with Premiere Rush. Okay, I really love those questions. Thanks for asking, Michael, especially. So let's get out of our edit workspace and save our video. We're gonna go share, and quality settings, automatic is usually pretty good, but you do have to be careful for if you're making something, say, for Instagram Reels. Oh, good. And thank you, Brian. The button might be somewhere else on mobile. You might be better off choosing 1080p instead. Um, I just match the frame rate. But if you make something too large, like if you try and send a 4K video into Instagram, they compress it for you and you end up with something lower quality than if you had just uploaded a 1080p video. But generally automatic is fine too. This isn't 4K. So we will export. And again, it's pretty wild to me that we can create a whole video with transitions, pan and zoom, and go ahead and process and export it all on one of our mobile devices in almost no time at all. So if I go to my photos, you'll see my video here. AirPlay's being funky on me. Oh, there it goes. Let's do it again. I don't have play controls. That's the wrong video. Here it is. I know it's just plants. So good question. You notice that Premiere Rush only exports to camera roll. Let's confirm that. It looks like that is the case, but if you want to get it to your files, you should be able to send it to your files here, save to files. Oh, and let me get out of this view. Can everybody see my screen again? Good, got a thumbs up. So I'm not going to tap the video because that does something with AirPlay, but well, kind of this does too. But you can save the files. It's not going to the AirPlay separates these images, and like Brian is saying, you can publish to different platforms, and you can also hit that share button in your camera roll and send it to your files that way if you like. So hopefully that's okay for you all. Okay, and last but not least, we're going to play with Spark Post, which is where you take this media that you're creating and you can add text, you can kind of make it social media ready. And with Spark Post, this is the first workshop we've done looking at it for the summer. It's a really cool app. It's a web app, it's a mobile app, and that's it. There's not a desktop application for it. So you either go to your web browser on your computer or you go to the app on your device. And one of my favorite things about Spark Post is that it's changing constantly. Thank you, Brian. Brian's got the link there, spark.adobe.com. Spark Post is constantly being updated with new features, new animations, updating how you view tools. It's actually becoming more and more like a little web-based Photoshop. Sometimes it feels a little bit like an Illustrator, but it is kinder to those that are new to any form of design. It is faster, and then my absolute favorite thing is that it has this seemingly endless supply of templates to start from. And I think that's one of the biggest blocks for us when we're creating something. We're like, what should I make? What should I make? Well, I like that, but I probably shouldn't remake that because that's somebody else's. And if you shouldn't do that if it's something that you're doing for work, but if it's something that you're doing for learning, I think it's great to start from example. But what's even cooler is you can start from a template, and these are all things that I've made and played with. But let's go ahead and start with a new template and see how we can modify it. And that way you find your inspiration while you're scrolling. And what I'm going to do, and this is that part where you'll see some of the templates. Yes, yeah, if you don't even know how to design or start, all you do is take a template and replace it with your own content. And it might even be that you just change the text and you've got something that is worth posting. Thanks, Brian. If they have a little gold badge, those are for people that are paying for the Spark subscription, which is like $2.99 a month. But again, if you are one of our university staff, faculty, student, you have access to this. You just have to request it. Okay. You can just go through featured. You can go through the different genres at the top, for lack of a better word, categories, that's the word. Or you can even search. You can say, here you can see my last search was for a calendar, and you'll see all these little calendar templates that are fully editable. That means you can change the text, the actual type, you can change the font, the colors, the background, you can change the ratio. I can't think of much that you can't adjust. Let's just look at collage real quick. And these all have kind of a scrapbook feel for them. This is kind of fun, a mood board. And you can see yellow fashion mood board. And then they invite you to remix it. And it's kind of neat. Yeah, Brian will share that link to you. If you haven't requested your Adobe CC access, he's got the link for you. But if you're already using like Photoshop and all that stuff, then you already have Spark access as well. Okay, And you can see that this has been remixed 7,444 times. So you shouldn't be shy about making your own version as well. So if I tap remix, it's going to load it, and I can go and I can edit the text. Like I said, I like cactus. It's a cactus mood board. Works. Oh, and I should have just put cactus. And I'm excited, so exclamation point. Because the mood board is its own text layer. And this is all layers, which is a really important thing to know about Spark, because if I want my text on top and it disappears behind the picture, I need to change the layer order, which we'll jump into. But I'm making a cactus mood board, and now my text is a little bit smaller, so I'm going to take this picture and scale. No, I think I double click. I always forget where. So these appear to be locked, so I might even just add another one. Let's duplicate it instead. So I'll tap and I'll edit. I'll crop and shape. There it is. Awesome. That's nice. So I went to edit, crop, and I'm going to expand. Okay, so it only lets you expand it to the size of the existing image. So you might have to do that and then scale it, which is not as smooth as you might like, but then I go crop and I crop it in. Are there any questions so far? All I've done is search for a template, change the text, and crop an image window, if you will. Okay, let's replace some images. So if you see, if I tap on the empty space, I can zoom in and out with 2 fingers. If I tap on a specific element, it will show me my edit options underneath. Do we have access to other libraries? Ooh, what a great question. Yeah, let's see. Let's go here and replace these yellow pants. And so if I tap on that image, you'll see under the edit option, I have the replace choice. And I can search free photos, which I believe goes to Pexels, which is a really great site for free stock photography. Let's search for cactus, that makes sense. And here we have free images. They aren't all cacti, but that's okay. Let's use this agave. And there I have a free agave image. You can also request access to Adobe Stock if you're one of our university members, U of A. And then you can get access to even more images, which in my opinion are even higher quality. But Pexels has really nice quality stuff for free. I believe different images have different licenses, but I imagine Adobe's only accessing the ones that you are free to use. So there I access the Pexels library. You can also, let's go to this first one, replace. If you have your own Adobe CC libraries, this is actually a new thing where you can access them. I've got like a bunch of app logos on mine, so we're not going to go in there. You can put patterns, you can search Adobe Stock, and then you can go to your photo library, you can take a picture, or you can go to your files. So, photo library, a cactus. And if I tap, I can kind of use 2 fingers and move it. Done. So then I could just go and replace all of these with my cacti. There's a cactus. And again, when you tap it and you go to crop and crop and shape, you can use 2 fingers to scale it and 1 finger to move it around. And then you touch that little crop rectangle to change the size of the window that it's within, if you will. So this is the beginning of my cactus mood board that I just used a template for, which is pretty nice. Awesome. Yeah, and Brian put another really good resource there. So there's no shortage of high quality free content, but you can also quickly create your own with PS Camera or Rush. Okay, let's say that we want to start from scratch. The theme here is that I'm having a cactus sale, and I'm going to put a few pictures up and then put some text on it, animate the text, and maybe I'll have a video kind of playing in the back. It might sound a little too busy, but just so you guys know how. Cool. All right, so you can see here, when you hit the green plus, you can start from a solid color. You can start from several things. And what I'm going to do is start from my photo library. And I think I should be able to select multiple images. Yep. Boom, boom, boom. Not that one. This one. Not that. How many do I have? I've got 5. If you don't want to count your pictures, in the top right, it tells you 5 pictures selected. Let's uncheck that one. It's going to stand out as a strange one. I add 4 pictures, and you will see the first option is what ratio would you like? I'm going to make an Instagram story, so I choose that. And it has already turned it into a collage of 4. So then I can hit done. And what's fun is I'm not married to this collage. If you look in the bottom right, I can add more media, I can animate things, select colors, and then I can go to the layout. And here I can say, oh, as far as 4-picture layouts go, I actually think it would be fun to feature one bigger than the rest. And it goes ahead and does that. And then I can click done, tap done, and I can tap on this first image, go to, interesting. Why did it change that on me? All right, so because this is a collage layout, you don't have to go to crop, you just tap and move it around. And then I think you do need to go to adjust and scale if you want to make it bigger within there. So one more time, if this plant is a little bit off center like that, which it looks kind of neat like that, a little negative space, I can tap on it and just move it around with 1 finger. If I want to change the size, the scale, I go to the adjust menu and I tap scale. And that lets me move that slider and resize the image. I like it kind of up close and personal. And you also have a few other options here. You have nudge, where you can be a little more precise and use these cursors to move it around. So maybe you move it in place and then you get it right where you want it with the nudge tool. You have rotate that lets you rotate. And then you have flipping horizontal or flipping vertical, which is how you mirror it. Flipping horizontal mirrors left to right, vertical top to bottom, or vice versa. Okay, let's make this guy take up the whole screen. This one, this looks pretty good. And now, if you see, I've got this pretty easy collage. Great question. Sylvie says, can I change the sizing? Yeah, and if you look at the very right, and I'm not exactly sure where this is on mobile, but I think it's a very similar location. There's the resize option where you can choose all the other options. And you can see there's there's a lot of them. There's print, there's social, there's profiles, like if you're making a banner for, I don't know, your LinkedIn. You've got those as well. Was LinkedIn actually one in here? Well, LinkedIn isn't, but your Facebook profile banner, Twitch, I think they're the same though. So let me know if you were able to find it or not, because I'll open it up on my phone and find it if we can't. But yeah, that's one of the great things is nothing is forever with all this Adobe stuff. You can adjust kind of to your heart's desire. Some tools are a little limited, like we couldn't pan and zoom a video, but there are better tools for that. Okay, and move this guy. So now I'm gonna just add my text. So I'm gonna tap on the text. I'm gonna move it into this kind of empty space, and then I'm gonna double tap to edit. And this is a cactus sale. I am still excited about it, so there we go. And this is one of my next favorite things. Sometimes we can lose a lot of time styling type, choosing a font. Of course, if you've got a brand font, like if I was making something for our Adobe Arizona Instagram, I would probably be using Proxima. But this is just something for fun. If you look, there's all these options. We've got edit, font, color. You can go choose your font. You can choose the color of the text. You can put a shape on it. So shape puts just a standard background. But if you hit the little sliders, you can say, ooh, I want a banner or a badge. I don't know if I'm using the right word for that. But there are a ton of things that you can do. But sometimes they can you can get a little lost in them. So something that's fun to do is to skip all of these and go to style and turn that little dial. So if you grab that green dot and move it, it's going to show you different styles. And here, this one's already fun. It moves the word sale to the end of it. I can make it bigger. And I can just keep looking through these. And it's going to generate different designs, different text styles. Ooh, I like that one. Although it's strange to see it next to sale, but let's say this one makes me happy. I didn't choose any colors, but if you notice, they match very nicely with the colors of the collage that I've made. And that's something that Spark kind of considers for you. And let's make this bigger. Actually, I don't want to lose too much of my image. Okay. And then, I could add another text box with the information, but the next thing I'll show you is if I tap done and I can animate this text. So I can go animation, and you can do a simple typewriter, it types it out, cactus sale. It can type it out randomly or in order. There's where the whole blocks of type will show up. I think Flickr has its place. I don't know how thoughtful it is for accessibility situations, but it can be cool. I like the color shuffle. I think that's kind of fun, but again, we don't want to go too fast on these color shuffles. So this one even animates the background, which is pretty fun. And I could spend a lot of time playing through these, and I just will show you one more thing. If I tap on this text and I go to edit, I can duplicate it, I can delete it, I can check out the secondary style, which is already being applied to that C. So it decided that would be that, but if I move it, this doesn't make sense. I don't want that to be my secondary, but maybe I'm just using my finger and dragging across the type that I also want to have that secondary style. And maybe I'll do this. I'll be the first to admit that my background isn't in graphic design, so I don't think I've made something that is following good design rule, but I've made something that I could post on social media and not have an issue with. Are there questions at this point? Got thumbs up. Good. Um, let's check out one more thing, and then I'll show you how to share out, which you'll find is very similar. By the way, if you want to see what your animation looks like, there's that little play button on the bottom left, and that will play your animation. I think they let you turn it off and on because it can be distracting while designing. Okay, you can also add video, and I think adding a video might break some things here, but let's add, I believe this is the video we made, which, oh, okay. So you can even trim it, but let's just press play. So I can actually have a video playing inside my collage box or any part of it as well. Um, I'm not sure. I think that now what I've made is a little nauseating. So I might just have the cactus tail show up and then let the video keep playing. And it's probably a little busy now, but what you notice what it did is it added another box to my collage for that video. And actually, this is a different video, but that's okay. Okay, let's save this. So we're going to hit top right, that universal symbol for export or save, a square with an arrow pointing up. Let's send it somewhere else. Thanks, Brian. I was just saying there was a lot of color changes going on that made me go a little cross-eyed. But yeah, I think this is what's great about Spark is you can make something that looks very clean very quickly with not too much thought. As you saw me, I was just grabbing images and tapping and seeing what happened. Okay, so now you can see this is kind of cool. You can create Spark templates if this is something that you routinely want to use with different content. You can save the video, but you can go straight to Instagram, text it to somebody, or copy a link. Let's save it. And then let's also interesting. I thought the link would be readily available. Let's go ahead and put this link in the chat as well, because it'd be interesting to see what it looks like. And now everyone's going to come to my cactus sale. I'm going to sell out of plants. I'll be rich, but I'll have no more plants left. So I'm not really sure how I feel about that. All right, copy link, preparing your Spark post. And so this will be hosted online by Adobe. And if I'm remembering correctly, it should also, I believe you can pull embed links if you go to the website itself. But let's find out. Let's see if this copied to my laptop as well, like it's supposed to. I feel pretty good about this. And if you all want to have an adventure and tap that link or click it. So in this case, because I had video, my only option was to save it as a video, but you can share it with a link instead of a file. Pretty nice. Or I could take it to Instagram and perfect. It's the first time I've opened Instagram to add an image. Plus, here's our shameless plug. If you want to give us a follow, our username on Instagram is Adobe Arizona, which I like to read as Adobe Arizona. Pretty good. Okay. Plus, here's what I made. I'm posting to a story, and I'm going to select this one. And you can see it fits really nice in my Instagram story. I'm not going to post it because that's not on brand. But at this point, we do like to save time for questions, and I feel like we've got a good amount of time. I could spend more time blabbing about Spark Posts, but I think it would be to everyone's benefit if we ask questions, if you have them, and we expand on what you all need or are encountering. So thank you so much for joining us and for asking questions along the way. And let's chat some more. Some water. And here, another thing I'll show you, I'll stop sharing my iPad for a moment and just show you on my screen. Oh, awesome. I forget, how did you get to the circle button to change the style? Oh, great question. Let's get right back to that.
And then let's see here. I'll answer this next one while you're answering this one, if that's okay. Another question says, can you download the apps on multiple devices using the same Arizona login? Absolutely. For computers, you can have up to 2 devices. I don't have more than 4 devices that I've logged into mobile stuff on, just because I don't have more than that, but I haven't found a hard limit for that. I'm sure there is one, but it's higher than 4. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, and a really nice thing, if you do hit your limit, you're not like out of luck. You can just tell it to sign out the other machine and sign into the one that you're trying to use at the moment.
Yeah.
All right. Can everybody see what's happening here? I think that's yes. Okay, thanks so much, Cheyenne. Okay, so the style slider, when you have to select your text layer or element. So I'm going to tap on cactus sail, and at the very end, at the bottom, you can see edit, font, color, opacity. At the very end is style, and that's where that little dial is. So let me know if you found it. Okay, good. And Brian confirms that it's similar on your phone. And all this functionality, perfect. Glad you found it, David. Yeah, you have to have the right element selected to get what you like. All this functionality of Spark Post is web-based on your computer as well. And if I were to visit spark.adobe.com, I would see this exact file that I created, and I could continue working on it, change things up, share it out again, make it a template, any of that stuff. So that's another really powerful thing about Spark Post, is that it's on the cloud and it's not just on whatever device you were working on. You want to see anything else? Let's see. Oh, well, you know what I can show you on top of this is the photos, just kind of like Photoshop camera. Oh, that's a great question. You can have a brand, and you can't, I'm not sure if you can share your brands yet, but you can see I made a UA digital learning brand. And if you brandify it, it's going to apply our digital learning, kind of put it in a weird spot, which I think I can move. Yeah. So I can take this digital learning logo, move it to the bottom, and it applies our colors too, which I went to the University of Arizona brand page and just used the hex codes for that to make this brand. Let's look back here. So I think all of the brand things are on the web-based app. So I'm gonna switch over because it's a really good question. Great, Mike. Yeah, hang out. Nobody's got to run. If you don't have any questions though, please feel free to sign out. You're not our prisoners. Um,
And then
but
as he's playing the brand stuff, brands have expanded quite a bit since when they started, but like most of Spark, everything's kind of like this constantly shifting work in progress. I found that when I share a project that has a brand on it, it will share that information for the brand, but not the ability to edit it.
yes,
So as far as like sharing a brand like cross team and things like that, it's better than it's ever been. I don't know that it's 100% there yet, but the brands can be pretty powerful for just like quick access and stuff. It looks like there's an option to invite brand people to the brand as well.
yeah, this is new. So I'll share this with Brian. But I did notice like there was a second brand, a third brand. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Selena. Um, oh, you're already a member. Aha. But so I went ahead and uploaded logos. You can see I've uploaded to Creative Campus and Digital Learning. Actually, I've uploaded the white text version and the dark text. So I had to build this entire thing up. Thank you, Evan. And I put in the hex codes for the brand colors. And there is a new thing that's called Brandify. So this is kind of fun to play with. We're going a little off of the mobile theme here, but if I do create brand, you can even skip uploading a logo. You can pick your colors. My color is Minties, and my font doesn't matter, it's Proxima. So then when you go to next, demo brandification, it actually builds all these brands for you. I think this is their answer, if anybody's familiar with Canva. It's this really straightforward branding thing. Oh, it didn't actually take me to the logo builder. Did I go the wrong way? I think I was there and I didn't finish. But it'll give you this nice mosaic of potential logos. Brian, have you seen this thing?
The Brandify thing.
Yeah, well, it would actually make logos, like it would put icons on them and everything. And
Let me look. Is that under the brand section?
I thought it was, but now I see. Okay, so my photography business is called Sweet Pics, and my slogan is pretty good photos.
Oh, is that a beta?
I think it is. It is a beta, but I'm gonna put this in here for you guys to play with because I think it's super fun. It's totally a tangent, but why not? Then you can say, what's your style? Are you bold, elegant, modern, decorative? I'm going to be modern. So I'll click modern and hit next. And you can select icons. This is pretty good. And then it just, with AI, makes you all these logos that are yours. And then I can use this as my brand. Yes, it is similar to Canva. It is their answer to it. I think so. And I'll be honest, I've only opened Canva once, and it felt like a lot of similarities across. So yeah, I can take this and then I can customize more or download it and then upload it to the brand section in Spark. Okay. Any other questions? Anything anyone would like to see? This was super fun. I always enjoy playing with all these apps. Sometimes it's just for fun. Sometimes it's for work. Yeah, David, that's a very good point. That brand option, it's meant to incorporate across apps to help you be consistent with your assets, if you will. All right, Michael, can't wait to see it. Thank you, Cheyenne. We'll see you next time. And yeah, this Tuesday is After Effects with Brian, creating motion graphics. That's going to be a cool one.
Should be a good time.
Yeah, I'm excited. And then Thursday is a deeper dive into editing with Lightroom and Photoshop. You're very welcome. Thanks for joining. Yeah, and again, if you're good, you're welcome to have a nice lunch or whatever time of the day it is there.
I have one question for you guys. I wondered, is there times when if we are doing things within Spark or we're on campus and we're trying to post something social media wise and we get stuck? Is there like, do you guys have like a helpline or something like that? Or is
Yeah, Brian and I are the Adobe CC kind of help here. We have an email, adobecc at arizona.edu.
Okay.
And if it's something bigger than we can help you resolve, we can connect you to Adobe as well.
No, I appreciate all the brand, like going to the brand. And when you were initially talking about hex codes, I didn't understand what you meant.
Oh, good.
But
Sorry.
I went back and it's just that hashtag before when you put it. Okay.
Yeah, it's exactly
super beginner here. So
that's why we're here. You know, we all start somewhere. And then
yeah.
So David, Spark already catalogs. It's already on your Creative Cloud account. So if I go to the website, I was working on the iPad, and if I go to spark.adobe.com, you can see the two posts I was working on, my my mood board and my cactus sale. This is interesting. There are features I used on the iPad that aren't on the website, and there's stuff the website does that the iPad doesn't. We'll have to. I wonder what those are. It might have been the video.
Yeah, usually it's like the more complex parts of the animation, and it's just one not catching up to the other yet.
Yeah. But see, the website actually lets you visualize your layers, whereas the app, you use a slider to move something up and down.
Which visualization of layers is my favorite thing about the website. Just like that, click and drag and move things around and reorder. It's Photoshop Lite, really. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, you can see the things that I demonstrated that I made on Spark, and Rush is the same. If I open up Premiere Rush, Photoshop Camera, no, because it's just a mobile app. But anything you do on Spark and Rush is already on the cloud, as long as you've got the storage space for it.
And then one last thing about getting help and things like that. We are looking at what an office hours type of format looks like. And once we figure out what that is, how we book it. It's a summer project that'll be on our website too. So you should just be able to have a quick question if it's just if it's not necessarily technical, but like, what do I do, or how do I start, or what do you think? Like sometimes just the extra ear to kind of be, or the extra set of eyes to be like, yeah, that looks good. Maybe think about this. So we'll have that too. This is my cat.
Yeah. I'm so glad. I'm so glad the cat is here, and I'm really glad you mentioned that, because yeah, we'll be available for some sort of consultation.
Oh, that's excellent. I think that Adobe in general is not. It's like if you miss one, like a couple of the things at the beginning, I missed like one step of, and I was lost for some of it, because if you miss one step, it's like you kind of get, it's not super intuitive every time.
And seriously, next time, just ask us to repeat it. Like, it'll be for everyone's benefit. It really is, because I can get lost in the iPad and not notice that there's a delay and things like that. So it's
The
It's
only other
human
thing I
moment.
had a question on is where do you put, like, if you want the brand colors and things like that to be like a palette, can you have it be a palette?
And David, the reason it might not have shown up to your phone, it also you have to make sure you're logged into your enterprise account, into the same account on both. But yeah, I'm glad it was very helpful. So like an actual, um, so I built a palette out like this. Is this what you mean?
Yes. So how did you do? Because I mean, I know that if you go into the brand website, it has like a few different colors you can use. So I
Yeah.
thought it'd be
So
good to have like that, a palette in there.
yeah. So I just kept adding colors. So
Okay.
if you click the pencil, you choose your primary color, and then you add all of your secondary, if you will. So you can just keep going. You can type the hex code here, or if you're just kind of playing around. And
And you
now,
started that in brands, right?
correct.
Okay. And then you can add, like I could add the College of Ed logo. I could add our like programs logo.
Yeah, if you see here logos, I went pencil, and I've uploaded these
Everything.
5. I said this is my go-to, but say this is on a black background, that won't work well. So I also have the white text version, and I
Excellent.
can upload. I haven't found out how few you can. So this doesn't make sense, but here's a random. Ideally, you should have PNG or SVG files to use from your assets. And so now I've added another logo, which I don't want, so I'm going to delete it.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then anything else?
Thank you guys. I just wanted to pop in
Yeah,
and say hello. Like,
yeah, I love seeing
this
a
is about as
person
personal
moving.
as we get,
I
right?
know. Um, I actually never worked in person in this position. I started remote, so
Oh, well, there you Yep. It's a good way to start because now we
yeah.
can go personal thing. Okay. I'm glad to hear about. Do you think you'll put the office hours and stuff on the digital website, maybe? The digital learning website? Awesome. Okay. Sorry. I won't monopolize, but I appreciate it. Have a good day.
You too, Sylvie.
You too. Thank you. All right.
I'm gonna stop the recording.
Sounds great.